Fellow oppressed citizens of Nigeria, we all know another election cycle is fast approaching, and there are things we need to talk about. Very important. I think it's high time that we, the oppressed, begin to think for ourselves. I think it's high time that we, the oppressed, come together and decide what is good for us. I think it's high time that we need to scrutinize these, candidates ourselves and then come to a conclusion on the one that is actually on the side of the oppressed. You know, when it comes to our political decision, I do not think we should continue to listen to the influencers, our faiths, pastors, and imams. We have listened to all these people all our lives, and what do we get? Pain, suffering, agony, and more pain. So I will suggest that we the oppressed come together and then decide for ourselves who are we going to follow. Because when you look at it, you know, they are already cooking another Buhari Pro Max. Another Buhari Pro Max is in cooking as we speak. Sadly, Nigerians are buying it. Buhari, how the system brought about Buhari in 2015 is all you need to know, you know, to use your sense this time around as the oppressed citizen of Nigeria. Buhari is the proof, living proof, you know, that there is no way you will go and bring one of these oppressors and then whitewash him and now say, okay, it's going to be a messiah. Nonsense. You know, by now, I do not think there is anyone with his right senses in Nigeria that does not know that Nigeria needs a revolution. you know. So when these influencers, now, go on rampage again, saying, okay, it is one former governor like that, that is going to be our messiah. We should be wise. Although I agree that history do repeat itself, but it is too early now. It is too early because is it not 2015? Was it not 2015? you know, that these people go and they brought Buhari, whitewash Buhari, making Nigerian people believe that this is a soldier who would end insecurity in Nigeria. But they were not talking about the fact that this man has been president in 1983 and all he delivered to Nigerian people is suffering pain. They will not talk about it. But these people will now, they will definitely find maybe some positive things to capitalize on, knowing fully well that these people are not what we need in Nigeria. So we all need to pay attention to another Buhari Pro Max that is cooking in Peter Obi. You know, because you cannot tell me that someone who has been a governor for 8 years in this country and still managed to hand over to his party. This man was governor in 2006 up to 2014 and then again handed power to his party. And 21 years after, if you go to Anambra today, is it that all the internal roads in Anambra have been fixed 21 years after? Or is it that there is one healthcare center in Anambra that this man and his family themselves can use conveniently, when they need to get medicated? Why are we deceiving ourselves? Or is it about just taking a check, posting with students, and then again they are now saying, okay, this is their messiah, from consumption to production? How? How? I think we need to pay attention more to action rather than what you know, these people say, because these people are politicians. Of course, they will say something. Even if President Tinubu should come out today, he will say a whole lot of good thing about, himself, how he's been taking serious actions like that, how what he's doing is the best thing for Nigeria. They are politicians. Of course, they will say this thing, but are we not going to think for ourselves and pay attention to the actions? you know, if we have a candidate today who is not talking about how we are going to trash the 1999 constitution and bring about a new united constitution that will be bound on everyone as Nigerian, then he is not the one. If we do not have a candidate that is talking about how we are going to scrap Senate and unitarize our National Assembly to cut down the cost of governance massively, then he is not the one. Let's not be deceived. These people have tradition of, winning influencers to their side to be pushing their agendas. They will now capitalize on one or two things that they can point their hands on that sounds positive. They will now be using these things, they will be painting these things in different colors to make it look like, if okay, here you have a Messiah. Messiah nonsense. This is the time that we, the oppressed, we must come together and decide for ourselves who is actually on our side and who are we going to follow. We can no longer afford to listen to influencers who, at the end of the day, when they have brought these people into power, they are not in Nigeria. These people have escape routes, and you and I suffer at the end of the day. We suffer at the end of the day. I do not understand in this country how we are, be convinced that one of the oppressors would somehow turns out to be our Messiah. Somebody, that has licked the boots of his class people all his life. This is somebody that you will see with Babangida yesterday, see with Abubakar Salami today, and you will see it with all these governors that are even current and still reigning Nigeria currently. You still see him with them tomorrow. How is it going to be different? Are we not going to think? Are we not going to think for ourselves? Or just because these influencers with large numbers of followers, if they have now said something, you people are now going to be following. It is this follow mentality that is keeping us in this way, in this country. We can no longer afford to be doing all this, okay, just because our pastor says, just because our imam says. Nope. We can no longer continue to listen to these people if it has to do with our political decision. We will have to, analyze for ourselves, do our own math, and then arrive at someone we can say, okay, this is, a candidate that stand with the oppressed. I will take you back to 2014 when they were campaigning for Buhari. I was 13 and I was in JS3 then. I can assure you, as small as we were, I knew pretty well that Buhari was coming. Because if you face this side, say Baba. If you face this side, say Baba. You won't believe that even our teachers in school back then, these people, campaigned so much rigorously that no, say Baba, say Baba. And these people read history. We were naive, 13-year-old boy, but our teachers that we trust so much, they were saying say Baba, say Baba. So we knew even as children that no, say Baba, won't say Baba somewhere, Buhari was coming. But did these people not know about his ruinous regime of 1983? Did they not know that this guy is corrupt, massively corrupt? Did they not know that he stole our oil money in 1983 through 1985 of his first ruinous regime? They will not talk about all these things. What they capitalize on was the fact that, okay, this man is an experienced military man and is going to end insecurity in Nigeria. And then, of course, when he himself went to campaign, he will ask, okay, how much is PAG on this day? When they tell him 80 naira, will begin to cry, oh God. And he bought all these things. That was just a few years ago. Even if history is going to repeat itself, is it supposed to be this fast? And now again, they have went to unpick another former governor that you will see with Obasanjo today. See with, even if Abacha is alive, you will see this man with Abacha tomorrow. And somehow they said it's your Messiah. And just because the influencer says so, we should follow him. Are we not going to pay attention to the actions of these people? Are we not going to think for ourselves, as the collateral damage in this equation? When you look at it, all these influencers that are pushing this agenda, I can assure you they have their escape route. If they want to leave Nigerian today, many of them are not even in Nigeria. And if they decide to leave Nigerian today, they have all that it takes, to leave. So at the end of the day, you and I suffer. I do not know how you will say You are obedient to slavery. I do not know how you will say you are obedient to your oppressors. What is this? You know, they are obedient to their oppressors. They are obedient to pain, to suffering. You know, they don't want to think for themselves. So, my people, if you ask me, I will say what we want and what we need in Nigeria is a revolution, and anybody who is not on that side of revolution should not be the candidate that will follow. Period. You know, it is a revolution or nothing. Do not be deceived with all this. We are going to reform, we are going to rebrand, we are going to redo this, redo that. Do not fall for it. They cannot reform nada. Nigerian problem is still reformable. You know, it takes a revolution or nothing. You know, we do not want the 1999 constitution again. We want the constitution that will travel through the length and breadth of Nigeria for approval. Aha, that will bind on every Nigerian. We want to rebirth Nigeria. You cannot rebirth Nigeria through the agent of the people who, tied Nigeria, through the people who changed Nigeria. When you look at it very well, what we have today in most cases is, internal problem. It's not really external that much, but I can assure you, the reason why we believe we don't have external problem is because all these external forces, that are against Nigeria, they have been able to put a system in place that they don't even need, to kind of intervene again. That is the truth, because they gave you 1999 constitution. That one alone, even if you go and bring down Jesus from heaven, you should pretty well know how it will end. Because you and I know that to some extent Yaradua meant well for Nigeria, but he ran, with the 1999 constitution, and you know how it ended. You and I know that to some extent Jonathan meant well for Nigeria. To some extent, but we all know how it ended. This colonial master just need to sit back and give you 1999 constitution, and you are meant to fail from day one. Simple. So if you now have this candidate that all they still do is hide under this, hide behind this 1999 constitution, and still making it look as if they are Messiah, don't be deceived now. Don't be deceived now. Don't be deceived. It's a revolution or nothing. The overhaul of the system, all these former governors, we don't want them again. Former presidents, we don't want them again. These people have failed us beyond reasonable doubt. They have failed us woefully. So what is the point of recycling, rinse and repeats of what has happened? Even if history will repeat itself, is it supposed to be this fast? When this man now, they will now sign the check of 20 million, they will go and post with students, and then again their influencers will be throwing it everywhere that, see Messiah, see, see, we bring back education back to life. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? But at the end of the day, they will not suffer with us. These people, they will not suffer with us. You and I suffer at the end of the day. This is why I'm suggesting that the oppressed think for themselves if it comes to our political decision. If you want to listen to your pastors and imam, it is fine. Let them talk to you about heaven, that they are good, that they know about the heaven that they have been to, that they know how it works. Let them talk to you about that one. But if it comes to our decision, it's our life. It's our life. Let's not say, okay, just because the imam or the pastors have said it, we should follow it. No, because at the end of the day, all these imams and pastors, they do not suffer with us. How many pastors is suffering in Nigeria? If you look at it, at the end of the day, common Nigerians like you and I suffer. So don't be deceived. They know what is in it for them. All these influencers that pose agendas of, fake politicians, fake messiahs, they know what's in it for them. But what is in it for you and I? What is in it for us? This is why we must come, together and decide for ourselves who we, deem fit to deliver Nigeria. That is just it. Let's not attribute our political decision to pastors, imams, or influencers again. They are killing us. We have listened to all these people all our lives. and they have continuously failed us up to this moment. So come 2027, we all should push for a revolution because there is no other way. You will not say, okay, oh, you go and pick one oppressor among thousands of oppressors and you say this particular one is your messiah. How? Of course, the politician will come out and say they want to do this, they want to do that. Understandable. But pay attention to their actions. Did you not see? Is it not the same man that will be jumping from shuttle to shuttle to meet the oppressor that you're well known? Even the obedient themselves will agree with me that Obasanjo contributed a whole lot to the problem of Nigeria. The obedient will agree with me that Salami Abubakar, Yakubu Gowon, the former governors and co, all these people contributed a whole lot to the problem of Nigeria and they are still unrepentant. But somehow you now pick one of these people and you begin to whitewash, to push his agenda, just the same way they handpicked Buhari, prior to 2015 election, and they make sure that Nigerians, forget about the atrocities of Buhari in 1983 through 1985 and somehow push the narrative of, oh, this is a military experienced man that will end insecurity in Nigeria. As insecurity ended today, what is now sad about the whole thing is the fact that even the people, you know, that is, campaigning for this many people that are pushing this agenda, they are not, we cannot isolate them when their agenda emerge. You cannot say, okay, just because it are people that push the agenda of fake politicians, they should face the consequence alone. It is not possible. We will face the consequence together. That is the problem. Because even in my opinion, if at all it is possible, that these people, especially the obedient, if at all it is possible, for us to kind of isolate them to Peter Obi's government if he emerged president, I would have even prayed that Peter Obi become president just to prove to the obedient that their education is useless and they are as better as someone who did not go to school at all. Even though I know some of them, they know pretty well that Peter Obi is not the answer, but there is something in it for them. But sadly, these people have large, numbers of followers. These people have, mighty social media presence, and Nigerians follow mentality is killing us. If their influencers have said, okay, this is it, and they have posted a 20 million check with some students, it's the one that will revive education in Nigeria. Nonsense. We need a revolution. We need a revolution in Nigeria, the revolution that will bring about a new constitution. All these politicians that are still dancing to the tune of the 1999 constitution are all the same thing. Wake up. They are all the same thing. Wake up. Let's come together, do our matter ourselves, pay attention to their actions, and then decide who exactly is going in the direction of, freedom. You do not expect this man, to bring his respected elder brother to account when he met power. He has even made it clear to you so that it won't be as if he's lying. He has made it clear to you that even if he comes to power, he's not interested in recovering the loot of the former leaders. can you imagine? Trillions of naira, billions of dollars that we have lost to the past looters. This man said it's not necessary, but he somehow want to bet a new Nigeria. Guy, now. He somehow want to bet a new Nigeria, and he has assured the former looters that they are free, that he's not interested. He's not interested in holding them accountable, and he's still using his same mouth, and that same mouth is what he still used to say he wants a new Nigeria. And we are following somehow. See, we cannot be all blind to these things. No way. We cannot be all blind to these things. You want to bring about a new Nigeria, but you are assuring the looters of our treasures that they should feel free, that you have no business with them. They should enjoy a whole lot of money that these people have stolen. Do you even know the sectors that these people, the looting fund alone? I know they have, they have, squandered a whole lot, but the one that we could still, lay our hands on, do you know how far it will go, in helping Nigeria, to thrive? Do you know how far it will go in helping Nigeria to thrive? But this man has assured them that my respected elder brothers, you people should be rest assured that I have no problem with you. After all, they belong to the same class. But these influencers are the one killing us. They are the one pushing the agenda. And they have large numbers of followers, especially on social media. And people don't know. Nigerians do not know. Nigerians are naive set of people. They just want to hear from the influencers and that's all. Why are you not paying attention yourself? Your influencer says this, I agree. Your pastor says this, I agree. But there is a way you can look into all these candidates yourself and you then come to a conclusion which is good for Nigeria. So this 2027, kill the idea of listening to anyone, influencers, pastors, imam, when it comes to your political decision, let these people face their heaven agenda. It's fine. I do not have any problem with that. But when it comes to decision that is that affect our life, our political decision, we should not listen to these people because at the end of the day, there is something in it for them. It is you and I that suffers at the end of the day. Point to one pastor that you think is suffering in Nigeria, or one imam like that is suffering in Nigeria. You know, it is us at the end of the day. And the influencers that before you know it, they are flew out of the country. So what are you telling them? We at the end of the day suffers, you know. And then again, there are other things that we need to pay attention to come 2027. You know, we cannot afford to listen to politicians that there are some words as an oppressed citizen, there are some words that we should blacklist from now. If you hear a candidate that is capitalizing on, tribe, religion, diversity, you already know that them. These people are agents of colonial masters, period. Because the reason why the word diversity is still, happens to be, in the same sentence with Nigeria, is because the colonial masters agents are in charge. Because what you mean we are supposed to have the word diversity is not supposed to exist when you mention Nigeria. How diverse could you be when when your country can be thrown into Alaska state of US, you know, and it will swallow it as if it swallows nothing. I am telling you the gospel truth. How diverse could you be when you look at China? How diverse could you be when you look at Russia? But these people want us to believe that we are kind of diverse. We have all this, we have all the tribes in the world. We are so diverse that we cannot be one person, that we cannot be one nation, that we cannot have one dream of prosperity, justice. I do not understand. So when you see them coming to campaign and they are like, diverse, if you are hearing diverse, hearing tribe, it is nonsense. We are not diverse anything. Of course, I agree, and I know the angle, the genuine angle that we are coming from when we mention diversity. But this is Nigeria. This is Nigeria. What is my business with diversity? How big is Nigeria? How diverse could we be? Did you not look at Russia? Why are they one people? Why are the Chinese managed to be one people? You are more diverse than the Chinese, right? Or you are more diverse than Russia. You are more diverse than the US. Diversity nonsense. We are not diverse anything. We are one people, one nation, one dream, freedom, justice, equity, you know. And there is no way we will have a united constitution, that travels through the length and breadth of Nigeria, and somebody will still be able to capitalize on religion and diversity today. So when they now go to their, you know, to the areas where they believe their own tribe member as they used to call it, they will now be campaigning based on tribe, saying all those things. It is nonsense. So these are the red flags that we should look into when they are mentioning diversity, when they are mentioning religion for in campaign. Do not stone them, stone them. Let them know that we are not diverse, nothing. And when if they ask you that why are we not diverse, you say you look at China. That is why you know that we are not diverse nonsense. That it is the politicians that are so wicked and evil. The politicians are the one who maintain these wars, quote unquote, diversity, tribe and religion. They make sure this, words stay alive to continue to achieve their own evil agendas. So we don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. When you hear somebody that is trying to campaign based on stone them. This is Nigeria, period. How diverse could we be? That I'm not reasonable enough to know that if I'm in the north, I'm still with Nigerian people. How diverse could we be that if I'm in the east, I do not know that I'm still in my country? What is even the difference in the first place? Why are we so different? What is there that is different? This is just nonsense. So when you see them capitalizing on all these things, they are red flags. Stone them. We want one Nigeria. We want a united constitution that will be supreme. We are no longer amending, reforming 1999 constitution. We want it to go down the, toilet. And we want a new constitution. We want to rebirth Nigeria. You cannot rebirth Nigeria through the ruins of Nigeria. It's just the same formation that they used in 2015. That is why it is, is annoying. They did not even come up with a new format. Just format that they used recently. And they are still using it, and you people still want it to work. Why now? We are not supposed to be this silly as a people. We are not supposed to be this silly as a people. This format they used it recently, is it supposed to then work again now? Even if it still will repeat itself, it will give itself time. Is it history that happened in 2014 that will repeat itself now? The same way they cooked Buhari. And somehow, that was how some people will be telling them that time that, is it not the same Buhari that brought hardship to Nigeria in 1983 that will do like this? They don't want to hear that nonsense. A military man that will stop insecurity. Bullshit. Same way that they are doing to Obi now. Buhari Pro Max is in cooking again in Peter Obi. That is exactly what is happening. They have single-handedly, the system, they have single-handedly picked another former governor that they know that does not have, much baggage, in real sense, and they will now push, they will keep pushing, and somehow at a point, they will give him power. And you people will now continue to suffer. And that is when you will now realize that you have been cooked again. Why are we supposed to be cooked in 2014 and the same format is used to cook us now? How? The system is not even wise. They are repeating the same format that they used recently. But I don't blame them because we are still falling for it. Someone that will go and lick boots of known oppressors, even his supporters, they know pretty well that these are oppressors and their principal will still go and lick their boots, one and dine with them, and somehow they believe that their own principal is Messiah and different. How? 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 They will now go about there from construction to production, from this to that. What are they producing in Anambra today after your 8 years? And despite the fact that we even handed over power to your party up to today, what is it that they are producing in Anambra today that you people have been governed for the past 20 years? What is many of your supporters, even all those people that are pushing the agenda of this man, they cannot. There is nothing you want to do in Nigeria today that you would think that okay, it is Anambra that you're going. Mention one thing as a Nigerian, especially all these non-obedient, the influential ones. That okay, I want to do this, I want to bring about this initiative and I'm going to Anambra State. Mention one. And somehow that is their Messiah and it is the one. How? An oppressor just like others. A former governor oppressor just like other former governors oppressors. What is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? My fellow oppressed citizens, let's, come back and think for ourselves. This is the time that we think for ourselves. We can no longer listen to influencers, pastors, imams. We want to listen to our conscience now. And we want to pay attention more to the actions of these people, not words. There is no politicians in Nigeria or anywhere in the world that will not come onto the altar and say good things about it. They know what you want to hear. They will say it, of course. But enough of listening to mere words of politicians. What we want to see now is their actions. Does this person's action align with somebody who wants to deliver Nigeria to the mass? Revolution now.